Cody Rhodes stands at a crossroads that few in professional wrestling ever reach with such clarity and purpose. The American Nightmare has sent shockwaves through the WWE Universe with a revelation that feels both sobering and inevitable. His next contract with the company will likely be his final one. This is not a man speaking in hypotheticals or playing mind games with fans. This is a champion who has reached the mountaintop, held the gold, and now sees the sunset approaching with eyes wide open. If you have been following his journey from leaving WWE to conquering the independent scene, building All Elite Wrestling from the ground up, and then making the triumphant return to finish his story, then you know what makes this moment so significant. Before we dive deeper into what this means for the future of WWE and the legacy Cody will leave behind, make sure to hit that subscribe button because you will not want to miss what comes next. The announcement came during a candid conversation that stripped away all the pageantry and scripted drama that usually surrounds such career-defining statements. Cody was not cutting a promo for television cameras or working an angle to build heat for an upcoming match. He was simply being honest about where he is in his life and career. At 39 years old, he has already lived multiple careers within the wrestling business. He has been the son trying to escape his father's shadow, the mid-card talent searching for his identity, the revolutionary who bet on himself and won, and now the world champion who completed the story that defined his entire comeback. Each chapter has added layers to who he is, and now he is writing what could be the final act. When Cody returned to WWE at WrestleMania 38, the reaction was seismic. Fans who had watched him leave years earlier to prove he could be a main event star anywhere were now witnessing the payoff of that gamble. He had done everything he said he would do outside of WWE. He became a draw on the independent circuit, helped create a legitimate competitor to WWE and AEW, and proved that the Rhodes name meant something beyond just being Dusty's kid. But there was unfinished business, a story that needed its proper ending. That ending came when he defeated Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 to become the undisputed WWE champion. The image of him holding the title with his family in the ring was not just a wrestling moment. It was the culmination of a journey that had taken him around the world and back home again. Now with that achievement in his back pocket and the realization that his body has limits, Cody is thinking about the endgame. Wrestling is not like other sports where retirement comes suddenly due to age or injury alone. Wrestlers often continue performing well into their 40s and 50s, especially when they have the name value and skill that Cody possesses. But continuing to perform at the level he demands of himself takes a toll that accumulates with every match, every tour, and every year. The piledriver on concrete floors during his independent run, the table spots in AEW, the grueling schedule of being a WWE champion, all of it adds up in ways that do not always show until later. The reality is that Cody has achieved what most wrestlers spend their entire careers chasing. He has held world championships, headlined WrestleMania, helped build a company, and won over skeptics who doubted whether he had the star power to carry a promotion. There are wrestlers twice his age still chasing the validation that he secured before 40. This is not about lacking passion or losing the fire that drives performers to step through those ropes night after night. This is about a man who understands that quality matters more than quantity, and that knowing when to walk away is just as important as knowing when to step up. His current contract situation puts WWE in an interesting position. They have invested heavily in Cody's return and his championship run has been a centerpiece of their programming. Losing him would create a void in the main event scene that would not be easy to fill. He brings a combination of in-ring excellence, microphone skills, and genuine connection with the audience that is rare in any era. When he talks, people listen. When he wrestles, people believe. That kind of performer does not come along often, and WWE knows it. The question becomes what kind of deal gets offered and what Cody is willing to accept knowing it might be his last. Contract negotiations in wrestling are always fascinating because they involve so much more than just money. There is creative control, schedule flexibility, merchandising rights, and the undefined but crucial element of legacy. Cody has been in enough contract discussions throughout his career to know what matters to him. He turned down money before to pursue creative freedom and the chance to write his own story. Now he is in a position where he can dictate terms not just based on his value to the company but on what he wants the final chapter of his career to look like. Does he want to work a reduced schedule to preserve his body? Does he want more say in his storylines? Does he want guarantees about how his character will be used? These are the questions that will shape whatever deal gets done. The speculation about who WWE might want Cody to work with in his remaining years is already running wild among fans. There are dream matches that have not happened yet, rivalries that could be built, and moments that could define WrestleMania cards for the next few years. But Cody is also thinking about something bigger than just match quality. He is thinking about who he can help elevate on his way out. One of the things that defined his AEW run was his willingness to put over younger talent and make them look like stars. He did not need to beat everyone to prove he was valuable. He understood that his role could be lifting others up, and he excelled at it. That same mentality could shape how he approaches his final WWE contract. There is also the question of what happens after wrestling for Cody. He has proven himself as an executive and creative mind through his work with AEW. He has shown he can connect with audiences as himself, not just as a character. The entertainment industry is filled with opportunities for someone with his skill set, charisma, and name recognition. Whether that means moving into acting, producing, commentary, or some other role within WWE's corporate structure remains to be seen. But it is clear that Cody is not someone who will simply fade away when his in-ring career ends. He has too much ambition and too many ideas for that. The emotional weight of knowing your final contract is coming brings a different perspective to every match and every moment. Cody has talked about wanting to savor things more, to be present in ways that are difficult when you are grinding through the endless cycle of shows and travel. There is a bittersweet quality to knowing that each WrestleMania moment, each championship defense, each standing ovation from the crowd might be among the last. For fans who have followed his entire journey, this announcement adds stakes to everything he does going forward. Every program becomes more significant. Every match carries additional meaning. This is not just another title run or another angle. This is watching a career wind down in real time. Wrestling history is full of cautionary tales about performers who stayed too long or left too early. The ones who are remembered most fondly are often those who timed their exit well, leaving on their own terms while they could still perform at a high level. Cody seems acutely aware of this. He watched his father Dusty continue wrestling past his physical prime because he loved the business too much to walk away. He has seen legends return for one more match that diminished their legacy rather than enhanced it. He knows the pitfalls and is determined to avoid them. That self-awareness is what makes his approach to this next contract so interesting. The business side of WWE has changed dramatically even in just the years since Cody returned. The merger with UFC under TKO Group Holdings has altered the corporate landscape. Streaming deals, international expansion, and new revenue streams have made WWE more profitable than ever. For a talent like Cody, that means the money available for a final contract could be substantial, but it also means the expectations and demands could be higher. The company is no longer just running house shows and television. They are producing content for multiple platforms, doing stadium shows around the world, and maintaining a presence that requires top stars to be available and active. Balancing what WWE needs with what Cody wants for his final years will be the key to any deal getting done. One aspect that cannot be ignored is the toll that modern wrestling takes even with better safety measures and medical care than previous generations had. Cody has dealt with injuries throughout his career, including the infamous torn pectoral muscle that he worked through at Hell in a Cell, completing the match in a moment that became legendary for both its toughness and its controversy. Injuries like that do not just heal and disappear. They linger, they affect mobility and strength, and they serve as reminders that the body has limits. Every wrestler reaches a point where the recovery time gets longer and the risk of permanent damage gets higher. Cody recognizes he is approaching that point if he has not already reached it. The fanbase reaction to news of Cody's potential final contract has been mixed in the way that all wrestling news generates strong opinions. Some fans want to see him continue for as long as possible, believing that someone with his talent and connection to the audience should maximize every year he has left. Others respect the decision to set boundaries and exit on his own terms while he can still deliver performances that match his standards. There is no right answer, only what feels right to Cody and his family. The fact that he is thinking about it publicly shows a level of transparency that fans appreciate even when they might disagree with the timeline. His wife Brandi Rhodes and their daughter Liberty play a significant role in these decisions. Wrestling demands sacrifice not just from the performer but from their entire family. The time away from home, the physical risks, the mental stress of performing at the highest level, all of it affects everyone. Cody has been open about wanting to be present for his daughter's childhood in ways that the wrestling schedule makes difficult. There is only so much time, and choosing where to invest it becomes more important as those years add up. A final contract gives him the ability to plan, to know that there is an end date where he can shift priorities and be the father and husband he wants to be without the constant pull of the road. Legacy is a word that gets thrown around a lot in wrestling, but Cody has earned the right to think about his in concrete terms. What will people remember about his career? Will it be the epic matches with his brother Dustin? Will it be the gamble of leaving WWE and succeeding beyond anyone's expectations? Will it be the WrestleMania moment when he finally held the title his father never won? Or will it be something that has not happened yet, something that occurs during this final contract that defines everything else? Those questions linger in the background of every decision he makes going forward. He has a chance to script his own ending, and that is a privilege few in this business ever get. The wrestling world is constantly evolving with new stars emerging and older stars stepping back to make room. Cody exists in that interesting space between generations. He is not a veteran from the Attitude Era hanging on for nostalgia pops, but he is also not one of the young guns just breaking into the main event scene. He bridges those worlds, respected by the older generation for his lineage and work ethic while also embraced by younger fans who see him as someone who fought the system and won. That unique position gives him influence and value that extends beyond just his matches. How he uses that influence in his remaining years will be part of his legacy. There is something poetic about Cody potentially ending his career with the same company where his father became a legend. Dusty Rhodes is woven into WWE history despite spending much of his career elsewhere. The American Dream character, the Hard Times promo, the polka dots, all of it is part of wrestling lore. Cody finishing his story in a WWE ring, cementing his own legacy while honoring his father's memory, brings everything full circle. It is the kind of narrative that wrestling does better than any other form of entertainment because it blends reality with storytelling in ways that create genuine emotional investment. Whatever happens with his next contract, Cody Rhodes has already secured his place in wrestling history. He took risks when playing it safe would have been easier. He believed in himself when critics said he was not good enough. He built something from nothing and then had the courage to return and finish what he started. His next contract will not define his career because he has already defined it through his actions and choices. But it will determine how the story ends, and in wrestling, the ending matters just as much as everything that came before. The American Nightmare is writing his final chapters, and the wrestling world will be watching every moment until the last bell rings and the lights go down. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss any updates as this story continues to unfold, because Cody's final run promises to be something special.